Right now at 10, the Badgers play out in Denver. We'll have highlights from today's big win against Montana. Badger fans showed out in force today, too. The reaction from those out west and back here home in Madison. And several bills aimed at trans students passed through the state legislature. How local LGBTQ plus advocates are reacting to the proposals. That is all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric Franke is off tonight. The Badgers are moving on in the NCAA tournament, and we're bringing you special coverage of the big dance, as News 3 is the only local station covering the Badgers out west. Sports director Zach Hanley is in Denver with highlights from the Badgers game against Montana.
Usually when you think of this team, you think of the Johns, either John Blackwell or John Tonje having a big-time performance to lead Wisconsin to a win. Well, against Montana, those two weren't the only ones who came to play. On the biggest stage of the season, the Badgers got big-time production from their bench, mainly from Xavier Amos. He did a little bit of everything for Wisconsin. Amos finished one off his season high with 11 points. He also grabbed 4 rebounds and had 2 monster blocks. It was a big-time boost off the bench, and it was exactly what Wisconsin needed.
There's 3 more for Amos.
X played amazing. You know, he was everywhere on both ends of the court, and that's what we need out of him, because we know how high his ceiling is and we know how good of a player he can be, so we need that night in and night out, and he showed it up today.
It's always been a dream of mine, you know, playing in March Madness, feeling the atmosphere, the energy, all of that, and it's really beautiful, you know, to be here. I'm happy I'm here with these guys battling every day.
Now, as far as how long this group is going to enjoy that win, not very long. As Carter Gilmore told me after the game, we'll enjoy it for as long as it takes me to untie my shoes. Outside Ball Arena, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
All right, thank you, Zach. Now, while the players, as you heard, may not have too much time to celebrate the win, some fans out west are soaking up today's victory. So are we. Our Arman Rahman spoke with 2 men who have quite the connection to the team.
Coming into the first game of the tournament, Badger fans had only 2 words on their mind: survive and advance. Now they get to celebrate their team answering that call.
This is what we do for a living. Go Badgers, go Badgers is what we do. Let's win some games. Hey, Tucker, go Badgers, baby.
And after the first tournament game win for Bucky in 3 years, these fans are hungry for more. With all the Wisconsin natives in Denver, it's a lot about hometown pride, but that's even more so for 2 traveling fans.
We're hometown friends of Stephen Crow.
Peyton Kasork and Austin Hacker went to Eastview High School in Minnesota with the Badger forward. They flew in at 4:30 in the morning to see their pal on the national stage, where they say he and the other men belong.
If you're fortunate enough to be a Badger fan and be in the Badger experience, there's nothing like it, especially seeing your buddy who you grow up with. These guys are dogs. Top to bottom, these guys are dogs. I'm ready for it. Wisco, we're making a run.
And as they continue that run Saturday, some other fans tell me there's still some work that the team has to do, but they feel Wisconsin sent a message with this dub. Reporting in Denver, Colorado, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thanks so much, Arman. And let's turn now to Tanisha Shaw, who watched the game in downtown Madison at the Nitty Gritty. She spoke to fans who were pretty excited for Wisconsin's first-round win.
Supporting Wisconsin right here in Wisconsin. I talked to fans who say the Badgers can make it pretty far in March Madness this year.
I feel like they can go all the way, honestly. They really push.
It's the Badgers. First round, you never know, but they're doing what they got to do to get the job done.
Nitty Gritty packed with basketball fans Thursday afternoon. Everyone watched the Badgers kick off their NCAA tourney by beating Montana 85-66. Fans also came to support local basketball while watching the WIAA State Basketball Championship games as well.
It's been pretty great. I'm excited to watch the state basketball game soon. And Wisconsin just won, so that's pretty good.
Fans also told me they can't wait for the matchup between the Badgers and BYU during the second round of the NCAA tournament. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanisha. Now to a look at your forecast on this first day of spring as well. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is on the weather patio with some calm weather right now, but some changes coming soon.
That's right. We're looking at mainly Sunday for our next round of not only rain, but a rain-snow mix, as well as eventually snow Sunday night into Monday. Speaking of snow, take a look at our estimated snowfall totals over the last 24 hours. We go up to the La Crosse area, stretching into Black River Falls. That's where folks picked up a half a foot of snow, if not more. Toma picking up nearly a foot of snow yesterday. And then as we scoot further south and eastward, those snow totals really drop off to about 2 inches or at the very least 1 inch of snow, mainly staying across northern parts of Dane County northwards. Further to the south, dry air kept that snow from accumulating last night into the early morning hours today. Upper 20s to low 30s for temperatures. We're at 32 in Janesville as well as in Madison, 27 stretching from Lone Rock into Boscobel, 28 in Viroqua. We're looking at 32 in Middleton and Waunakee and Sun Prairie as well. We are going to be quiet tonight. We'll settle underneath partly cloudy to mostly clear conditions. Tomorrow, breezy, warmer. It's going to be cloudy, though. We got a lot of snow to melt before more snow arrives on Sunday, so we've got those details in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Blaze. In local news, 2 suspects have been taken into custody after a shooting at a gas station in Pleasant Springs. The Dane County Sheriff says Creed Moore and Dwayne Johnson have been arrested in connection to the death of Kyle Thrasher of Janesville. Moore is charged with first-degree homicide, armed robbery, endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. Johnson is charged with felony murder and armed robbery. The homicide remains under investigation. And a man is declared AWOL from the Dane County Jail Diversion Program. This man, Anthony Gilbert, was reported AWOL yesterday and was last seen in the area of Mallard Lane in Madison. Gilbert is currently serving a sentence for obstructing and possession of methamphetamine. A warrant for his arrest has been issued, and anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to please call the Dane County Communications Center. Well, Gigi's Cupcakes in Madison is dealing with damages after a vehicle crashed through the front of the store. Here's a look from their Facebook page today. Madison fire crews were called to the building a little after 7 o'clock last night. Now, there is significant damage to the storefront, but no structural damage, and luckily, no one was hurt. The bakery said that it does expect to reopen tomorrow. In the capital, Wisconsin lawmakers passed a series of bills geared toward trans students in Wisconsin. Political reporter Will Keneally is there and has more.
Yeah, a couple of different Republican-authored bills in the Assembly today, including one that would prevent students from going by a different name unless they got parents' consent, another that would ban trans athletes from participating in women's sports.
It feels like 1 step forward and 10 steps back.
That reaction from Outreach LGBT, a community center in Madison, to a slate of bills, including a proposal to bar trans athletes from women's sports. Now, it's unclear how many Wisconsin students would be impacted by that ban, but some estimates say it could be in the single digits.
There's not that many of us, percentage-wise, in the United States, and this hyperfixation on our lives, our rights, our ability to just exist freely in public is really, I think, like symptomatic of larger sort of what we would call used to call culture war issues.
Those issues, the Republican authors of the bills told reporters Thursday, those issues can't wait.
We're going to take up some really important legislation that I think is at the forefront of the discussions in society today.
Advocates say the tenor of some of the discussions have changed since the Trump administration took office.
There's been a lot of fear and uncertainty in the LGBTQ community and especially the trans community ever since the inauguration.
Among the president's first executive actions was to try and ban trans troops from serving in the military. Back in Wisconsin, these bills face an almost certain veto from Democratic Governor Tony Evers. Despite that, Republicans say the debate is still important.
So one of the things that's important is for the public to get the opportunity to tell Governor Evers that he's wrong.
Now, advocates on the other side say that having that debate here in the state capitol, that alone can cause harm to the trans community in Wisconsin. Now, some of these issues are heading to the floor as Wisconsin is heading towards a crucial state Supreme Court election, an election that will decide many of these issues going forward. Now, that election will be held on April 1st. Reporting from the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Will. Wisconsin teens looking to get their driver's permit now have a more convenient option. The Wisconsin DMV is offering 15 to 17-year-olds the chance to take their knowledge test online from home with parental supervision. The two-part exam covers road rules and signs, and students have to finish their classroom training before the test. Now, while the online test costs $10, the in-person option at the DMV centers remains free. Security measures, including photo verification and fraud detection, do ensure test integrity. Once students pass, they can visit the DMV to quickly get their permit. Well, it's time for spring cleaning, believe it or not, and it's a great time to organize financial records as well, especially true around tax time, which can produce piles of paperwork. You do not need to keep all of those documents forever, according to the experts. The business analysts say in case of an audit, you should save your returns for about 6 years.
Doesn't have to be in a box, can be on the cloud. You can talk to, if you have a tax preparer, can you get it on disk because it's stored electronically. 6 years with all the supporting documents just in case.
6 years isn't long. And there are some documents that analysts say you should keep forever. Those include birth and death certificates, social security cards, and marriage licenses. Well, a Broadway play headed to Madison features a local connection. This week, A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond story, is playing at the Overture Center. And it turns out one cast member was born and raised in Wisconsin. Michael Accardo is playing two roles, Neil's dad, Keeve Diamond, as well as his record producer, Bert Burns. Accardo was raised in Port Edwards and lived in Madison for a couple of years as well. We spoke to him about his return to the city.
It's great to be back in Madison, where when I'm in a different town and I don't know a lot of people, I can kind of just laze around. Now I've got a list of commitments that I have to keep, which is fine by me. I get to see a lot of old great friends and, gosh, high school friends and family. And I'm a pretty lucky guy.
That's nice to hear. The musical will play through Sunday at the Overture. Tickets start at $31 and are available at the Overture Center's website. Still to come on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze tells us about our chances for rain over the weekend and getting rid of the Department of Education, how President Trump is looking to fulfill one of his campaign promises. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. President Trump is taking the first steps in his promise to get rid of the federal Department of Education. The president signed an executive order to begin the process of dismantling the Department of Education as he seeks to shift responsibilities to states. The administration says services such as student loans and Pell Grants will remain at the department for now, but will eventually move to other agencies.
We don't need to be spending more than $3 trillion over the course of a few decades on a department that's clearly failing in its initial intention to educate our students.
Now, the president cannot eliminate the department with the stroke of a pen. He would need congressional approval to completely dissolve the agency. The European Union is delaying its proposed tariffs on imports from the U.S. The first phase of the so-called revenge tariffs was set to begin April 1st after the U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports earlier this month. But today, the commission said instead of 2 phases, the tariffs will begin April 13th. More than $28 billion worth of American goods, including motorcycles, beer, and produce, will be impacted. A powerful storm system continues to threaten parts of the country on this first day of spring. The system brought blizzards and whiteout conditions across parts of 6 states, including Nebraska and Iowa. Possible tornadoes were reported in north central Illinois, and in northwestern Indiana, the roof of an elementary school was peeled off. Powerful winds uprooted this tree into Jessica Ramirez's home right as her mother was rushing inside.
I'm screaming for her to stay inside. She goes to move her car. Seconds after she moves her car, the tree uproots and falls right where she was.
I mean, it happened so fast.
Wow. In the South, high winds also spread new wildfires in Oklahoma and Texas. forcing evacuations there. The fire danger now expands down to Florida, while parts of the Great Lakes and Northeast brace for heavy rain. It's a lot to keep track of. Well, that wintry mix has moved out from our area, but even though it's now spring, we have some snow possibly cropping up. I don't like that word, Blaze.
Yes, we are still in that time of year where, we pull down just a little bit of that cooler air off into Canada, and we still can get a little bit of snow. And unlike during the heart of winter, this is going to be typically more of that wet, heavy snow because we don't really cool on down to get that fluffy snow that's really easy to clear. But thankfully, our temperatures are warming, so Mother Nature kind of helps us melt some of that as we make our way through the rest of this spring. Now, it is going to be quiet tonight. Friday, we will see some rain to end the evening, but that wintry mix does look to return as we head into your Sunday night into Monday. Until then, we're going to watch as showers and a few thunderstorms move in starting later Saturday night into early Sunday through the afternoon. The greens here indicating those heavy rain showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. Here's where we're going to be likely seeing that rain-snow mix, while most of northern Wisconsin and Minnesota is going to be dealing with that snow throughout the day on Sunday, overnight into early Monday. It's starting Sunday night that northwesterly winds move on in. We start to cool on down. That rain transitions over to snow. But because we've stayed warm for so long, we're likely not going to be dealing with a lot of snow accumulations. Not to mention some drier air may slip in here and some of these snow showers into Monday that might not actually accumulate as we go into the afternoon hours. So in terms of snow totals, we are looking at less than an inch or so for most of our coverage area. It's once you get into northern parts of Juneau, Adams County, Green Lake, Waushara, as well as Marquette counties and northwards. That's where we start to get more of that 1, 2 to 4 inch estimations and possibly higher totals further north. So it does look like once again, northern Wisconsin, more north central Wisconsin now is going to be dealing with the heavy snow totals. In terms of rain, because we're going to be dealing with that pretty much throughout all of your Sunday, we're looking at, I would say, a quarter to a half an inch of rain. The ground is still continuing to thaw on out, so a lot of this is going to seep into the ground, which is some good news. We still have moderate drought conditions across a lot of the state. Now, our temperatures, on the other hand, are looking to stay cooler than average as we go over the next 6 to 10 days. So this is towards the end of our extended forecast. We're anywhere between 30 to about a 50% chance of staying cooler than average, and we can extend that out 8 to 14 days. And we still continue to trend slightly cooler than average. And it has been a very interesting month so far. We started out with a high temperature of 27 degrees. 13 days later, we were nearing 80 back on the 14th. We've settled more into those 40s, the 50s. We had 60s on the 18th, and then the upper 30s to low 40s yesterday. Our average temperature actually right around 39 degrees, which is about 6.5 degrees warmer than where it should be from the start of the month through yesterday's date. It will be interesting to see what this cool down may have in store for us. Upper 40s to low 50s tomorrow underneath mostly cloudy conditions and breezy conditions as well. Some of those winds could be gusting upwards of about 35 to 40 miles per hour. After that rain snow mix wraps up later Monday into Monday afternoon, we will be keeping near daily chances for rain or some rain snow mixes there as we round out next week. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to Denver, Colorado. Now, March is how teams are remembered, and in recent history, Wisconsin's performances in the month have been ones to forget. But this Badger team exercised some demons in the first round. Wisconsin is 3-0 all-time against Montana, and John Tonje was doing everything he could to make it 4-0. He hits the 3+1. Badgers led by 8 at the break. Tonje finished with 15, and in the second half, they just took over. John Blackwell to the cup with ease for the hoop and the harm. Game high 19 from him, and then Carter Gilmore had his March moment. He spots up and splashes home the triple, and then shushes the Montana crowd to put the Badgers up 7, and it was all over after that. Nolan Winter, money from deep. The Badgers are moving on with an 85-66 win.
It feels really good. Obviously last year we lost the first one, so I never got to experience the true March Madness win. So to be able to get one under my belt now feels really good, and I'm proud of these dudes today.
We got here last year, we couldn't get the job done. You know, it's a great feeling. You know, smiles on everybody's faces, but more importantly, it's good because we got a good team win. You know, we came in here and handled business and didn't play around from the jump. So it's a good feeling for sure.
It's awesome just to move forward, and when you're in March Madness, you can't take any game for granted. So super happy with our guys, super happy that we get to move on and spend more time together. I mean, senior year, this is my last time, so I'm just embracing every moment.
Obviously, the guys are excited to get the win, but when they were walking off the court, the Badgers were all business because, as they said after the game, they didn't come to Denver for just one win. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin women's hockey team is up in Minneapolis, and as Andrew Banstra explains, the Badgers have a unique challenge on their hands.
Welcome to the Women's Frozen Four here in Minneapolis, where Wisconsin women's hockey is in search of breaking their own record and winning their 8th national championship. But to get to that national championship game, the Badgers first have to get through Minnesota on Friday night, right here on the Gophers' home ice.
Plenty of teams, our season's over and they don't get to play again until September, and we have the opportunity to keep doing what we love with the people we love. So tomorrow at 7:30, we have another opportunity to showcase ourselves. Yeah, it's just so exciting.
It just sets up for a great semifinal game. And so the place is sold out. I mean, I don't know how much better it gets than that.
The good news is that the Badgers are a perfect 5-0 against the Gophers this season. But as Mark Johnson put it, if you spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror, you might just crash. At Ritter Arena, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
So the madness has officially begun. The Wisconsin women get things going tomorrow, while the men gear up for BYU on Saturday. Outside Ball Arena, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
Tomorrow on News 3 Now this morning, we're celebrating World Down Syndrome Day. Our team will sit down with organizers from Gigi's Playhouse to see how they are celebrating the day. And finally tonight, New York's Intrepid Museum on board a World War II aircraft carrier is opening a new permanent exhibit. This is so cool. It features the newly restored World War II Convair fighter bomber. Now, it's one of the few remaining models still intact, a type of plane that took off frequently from the Intrepid's deck. The new exhibit also includes oral histories and artifacts on display for the first time. I'm trying to read and look at this at the same time, by the way. Many of these highlight stories of Intrepid crew members. This is located in the Hudson River on Manhattan's west side, and it's opening to the public tomorrow. I was just about to say, it makes me want to go to New York.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a big history buff, but that
I'd
would
do
be cool to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the weather, we've got it's kind of chilly, but it could be worse.
It could be worse. It could also be better. We had that near 80-degree day a few days ago, it seems like. But we're back into the 50s tomorrow. It will be cloudy as the day goes on and breezy. And if we take a look at that 7-day and 10-day forecast, quiet on Saturday, and then our rain snow mix returns on Sunday.
All right, thank you, Blaze, and thank you everyone for watching.